Here we are. What I love, if you didn't watch my stoic reading this morning, it was really interesting how aligned it was. It was called the chain method. It talked about Jerry Springer once gave a young comic named Brad Isaac some advice about how to write and create material. He said to him, keep a calendar, and each day you write jokes, you write an X. Soon enough, you get a chain going, and then your job is simply not to break the chain. And that's what we're doing, is we're creating a chain of, and then keeping a track of it. You don't want to break it. I've done really well. It's been however many days. And then the success becomes really a matter of momentum. I don't want to break this current chain. Have you got a chain going? Keep a track. I've got these videos I can look back on, and the chain of success. And each day that we accomplish makes that chain bigger, and we go, whoa, I don't want to break that chain and have to start again. So these videos have been really powerful, and I thought it was quite powerful that my reading for May the 16th in the Daily Stoic is aligned. Exactly, because Epictetus actually said in the quote, if you make it as far as 30 days, 30-day experiment, thank God. For habits is first weakened. So we're weakening our habit and then obliterated. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So I won't read it all. I'll put a link to my reading for today. It was weird that it was really aligned. And today when I started work, it was actually interesting. I had a guy I talked to, he comes up and he started talking about alcohol straight away, and it made me realize how much I must talk about alcohol, because it's happened twice. The way they start conversation with me, he was like, oh, that bottle of wine you suggested, and we started talking about it, and I made sure I didn't start preaching. I didn't say, oh, I'm doing some research, and I just laughed and talked about alcohol. I must talk about alcohol more often than I realize, because if that's the topic that my work friends are bringing up to start a conversation with me, interesting. Very interesting. How often do you talk about alcohol? And it is just a common thing, like we talked about in the last video, that society, if I talk about smoking or heroin, they'll be like, ugh, you should stop that. But alcohol seems to be encouraged. Tonight, it's the cherry juice and cranberry again. What are you drinking? Let's drink together. Cheers. Luckily, today's chapter, I had a look this time. Last chapter was really long. I wasn't prepared for that. But today, it'll be back to the normal length of video, which is good. I didn't have the energy to go for that full hour. Did I look like I was running out of energy? I tried to keep myself focused, and I think I do that for myself. If I have put energy behind it, then it solidifies the learnings. That's what I think. Is there science behind that thinking? I don't know. Do you know? Is there science behind if you're having energy while you're learning, it helps cement it? That's what I think. I could be wrong. If not, it just helps when we're chatting. You don't want to be chatting to me while I'm falling asleep now, do you? And it is late. Luckily, because the bottle shop is closed. And guess what? Tomorrow is a day off. I would have organized alcohol for tonight. Probably would have. And I would have been drunk, watching movies all night, sleeping in. But tomorrow I might actually go to the gym. I've got a day off. I've got no excuse. I'll go. I probably won't do much, but I think just creating a habit there too. Hey, like at the beginning, I said, I don't know if I'm going to do exercise, but here it's happening, which is awesome. But let's get into it. Cravings of sugar. Be gentle with yourself. You're doing the best you can. Quote by Anonymous. It doesn't even know who said it, but yeah. We're doing good. We're doing the best we can with the knowledge we have and from our past experiences and past habits. Right now, we are doing the best we can. And you're doing great. You're here again. Or if it's your first time, welcome. There's videos before. I will end up being 33 videos to make sure it's 33 alcohol free, and you can join me if you want. It might surprise you to learn that you may experience heightened sugar cravings during this challenge. Yeah, I thought that was weird when I read the title, the chapter, Sugar Cravings. This can happen for a couple of reasons. First, most alcoholic drinks contain more than alcohol. In fact, they contain quite a bit of sugar. I wonder if this has got sugar in it. Fructose. Juice, it would do. So your brain is accustomed to how much sugar and that sugar rush we have when we drink, when I drink. So which will create an intense craving for sugar. Of course, it's used to that amount. Second, both sugar and alcohol create a similar kind of response in the brain. Interesting. So it might try and go, all right, we're not getting the alcohol, let's push in to try and get the sugar instead. So let's dig into why, when the brain perceives something as being important to survival, it produces a chemical called dopamine in response. It's part of my survival, so it releases dopamine, which is called the learning molecule because it is signaled when the brain wants us to repeat the behavior or learn. It wants me to repeat that. Yeah, this is really good. I'll release dopamine to make sure he wants to do it again. So it's used to like reinforce an action or something. A good example of this, let's get an example, is the fact that sex is vital for survival of the species. And so sex produces high levels of dopamine in the brain. When you're getting a bit of sex action, dopamine is released. And addictive substances cause the brain to flood those dopamine as well. So addictive substances like alcohol. That is true for alcohol and sugar, which is also addictive. The dopamine is triggered by the substance, in this case, rather than by something important for survival. So it's not about survival, but the flood of dopamine tricks the brain into believing that alcohol is vital for survival. So my brain is like, where's this alcohol? Surely I'm needing this to be alive. That's why I was running to the train. I was talking in the first video to try and get this alcohol. My buddy's like, oh, I need it. Just think, because the flood of dopamine, your brain is learning that alcohol is important for your very survival. That's what I just said. She just wrote it. No wonder it's so addictive. Now, sugar has the same effect. Okay. Eating sugar produces huge levels of dopamine. In fact, some studies say that the brain reacts in a similar way to sugar as to substances such as cocaine and heroin. Sugar is. Whoa! Okay. This again is for survival. Sugar is incredibly calorie dense and it is a immediate source of energy. The brain's like, yes, this will help me survive. This sugar gives me energy. If you are trying to if you're trying not to starve, this is a very good thing. Body's like, let's not starve. Let's keep this energy, keep survival, and let's keep this body alive. However, today it is not necessary and leads to overconsumption of sugar. When you take a break from alcohol, the loss of dopamine response causes the brain to seek out other levels of dopamine from different forms. So your body will be like, oh, okay, how can I get this dopamine? And the sugar is probably the most bred, and it's in our food. And it'll be like, yeah, let's get some more of this. Wow. Finally, you may be accustomed to using alcohol as a treat or reward. Finding yourself saying things like, had a hard day at work and I need a drink. Like was saying before, you think, I just need a drink to relax. You're probably we're associating alcohol with a reward and it's a treat. But since you're not drinking right now, your brain, our little brain box, searches for another way to get the treat or reward. And of course, a common way to do that is with sugar. So, you might think you're craving sugar when you're actually craving a reward or a treat. Maybe at night out with friends, a movie or a massage would give the same feeling. Just treat yourself in other ways. Massage, hanging out with friends. At first I made Annie says, she made sure to be gentle with yourself. Yeah, be gentle with yourself. We are doing the best we can. Shaming yourself for any behavior from drinking to eating too much sugar is counterproductive. When I stopped drinking, I knew that I was already accomplishing something amazing by taking a break, and worrying about my sugar intake seemed like a lot to take on at the same time. Exercise and sugar and no alcohol. This is, becoming too much. Isn't it? Oh, gosh. When I was drinking regularly, I was consuming close to 2 bottles of wine per day. A bottle of red is about 600 to 800 calories. So just by cutting out the drinking, I was saving myself over 1,000 calories. For someone drinking the equivalent amount in beer or mixed drinks, the calorie count is actually much higher than that. I was so happy and proud of myself that I consciously allowed myself to indulge in other areas. Kept gummy bears and lollies, fruit candy on hand for those times when I needed that extra boost. I didn't feel the need to eat a lot of baked goods or ice cream, so I bypassed those. The more sugar stuff. Something in the math worked in my favor because I lost 13 pounds in that 30 days. I should have weighed myself. This is not to say that you will have the same experience. I might gain weight if I keep eating this sugar. Am I eating sugar? Yeah, I am eating more chocolate. It's like she's trod this path before me. You might lose weight, you may not. But you should feel proud of yourself for sticking with the experiment. Indulging in a little extra sugar worked to keep the alcohol cravings at bay and kept me from feeling deprived. Okay, so we can probably use it to help us get through this 30 days. And then we'll do a 30 days no sugar. 33, sugar-free. This wasn't a long-term strategy or anything. so she doesn't carry around those gummy bears and lollies now. But it is a way to treat yourself gently. Allowing myself the extra sugar worked for Annie. However, if you want to go that route, here are some ways you can keep that sugar craving at bay. So if we're going to go no alcohol but some extra sugar, one, elevate your heart rate. That's that exercise thing. Here we go. Exercise naturally boosts serotonin and the happiness hormone. So all right, exercise. I highly recommend exercising as much as possible during the challenge to help you purge your system of the toxins. We have talked about that. Exercise also reduces stress and lets you gets the handle on those emotions, but in a healthy way, resorting to alcohol to numb away anything you don't want to deal with. Yeah, so it's a healthy way without using the alcohol to numb those pesky little emotions. Number 2, eat fruit when you feel the need for sugar. Maybe that's why I'm enjoying these fruit cranberry things. It's got sugar in it. The fiber and the fructose, natural sugar, that is, in fruit will keep you satisfied longer than a piece of candy. You're right. So maybe some fruit in the diet. Drink lots of water. We have spoke about that before. When you're thinking about sugar, you're often dehydrated and actually craving water. Yeah, I saw this research that said when you start feeling hungry and wanting sugar, it's the first sign of dehydration. Interesting. You can add lemon or lime slices and maybe a bit of stevia, which is the natural sugar substance, substitute to give a nice flavor to the plain water. Your sweet tooth gets satisfied and you're hydrated as well. Yeah, apparently if you put lime or lemon in your water, it helps your cells absorb that water because it's got some extra nutrients. And your cells are like, ooh, I'll get water and nutrients. Helps it hydrate. Keep your blood sugar stable. Eating several small meals with protein throughout the day will stabilize your blood sugar. So, okay, protein. Protein and fat take longer to digest, which helps keep your energy levels even. In addition, protein breaks down into amino acids, which are responsible for the whole host. It's responsible for a whole host of processes, including healthy brain. We need a healthy brain function, so amino acids helps with that. One amino acid that you need to feel good is GABA, which is gamma, anobutyric acid. When you feel low, it's often because you don't have enough protein in your system to produce those amino acids. Alcohol produces GABA in excess. Wow. The feel good. Whew. So that's why. So when you take the alcohol away, you're going to need to replace those amino acids, but on a healthy level rather than an unhealthy level, which is alcohol gets your system all out of whack. Eating enough protein will do the job. I have noticed a direct correlation between how much protein I eat and my anxiety levels throughout the day. So up the protein. Time for some meat. Sounds good. Eventually, I was able to wean myself off my depression medication, which was great. Wow, she was also on depression medication. But eating protein was also a key component to keeping my moods and energy levels all stable. 5, consume naturally fermented foods and drinks. Yeah, interesting. Maybe like kombucha. Put those healthy biotics in your tummy. Wait, fermented? You don't know fermented? Aren't we trying to get away from fermented drinks? Yeah, she wants me to drink a fermented drink. Okay, alcohol. Yes, we are, but but certain such are, but these contain such a tiny level of alcohol that they shouldn't cause a problem. All right. What's she talking about? There are so many health benefits to fermented foods. She's talking about like sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, kombucha, which I mentioned, are fermented naturally and contain live cultures, prebiotics. That's the word I was trying to say before. Prebiotics in my tummy. Studies have shown that eating fermented foods is one of the best ways to reduce cravings of sugar and processed foods. No processed foods, fermented food. Okay, I might give that a go. Be aware that cooking kills off the good stuff. Yeah, it'll kill those prebiotics. We want those in our body. So canned sauerkraut or processed and sugar-laden yogurt isn't going to work. You need to buy naturally fermented foods that require refrigeration to keep those little cultures alive. Got a whole cultures. All right. Sounds good. Sugar cravings. So our body's going to need it. So we'll be kind to ourselves and realize there's a chemical readjusting happening in our body, and we'll be craving some things that we're body is expecting, and it's like, why aren't I getting my sugar and my gamma and my, let's get it in sugar instead of alcohol. Well, the brain will try and sabotage us and make me addicted to something else. I might get addicted to sex. Baby steps. There's definitely a temptation to do everything at once. You might be thinking, oh, well, I'm taking a break for alcohol, so I might as well quit the sugar. I'll start meditation and I'll run 5 miles every day. I'm going to be the best version of me, and those 33 alcohol free. I'm going to be Superman in these 33 days. Yes. Well, that's a noble thought. Okay. It really works in the long term. All right, we'll focus on the alcohol. Once you start down the path of self-improvement, it's natural to want to pile on the good habits and become a brand new person. But studies show that this is a recipe for failure. Trying to do too much at once. Too many new habits, I guess. Focus on one and then we'll add them on. Take baby steps and be gentle with yourself. Focus on this one goal of eliminating alcohol. That's our goal, 33 days. And then you can revisit the other goals next month. So, yeah, I won't try and be like, all right, exercise every day. I'll just add a little bit in. But my focus is alcohol. Because the beautiful thing is that once you tackle this cornerstone habit and reduce or eliminate the alcohol intake, you'll begin to implement a whole host of other habits almost by default. Very true. I know me waking up hungover is definitely not putting me in a mood to do exercise or eat healthy. So it's been a shift. And so she started her business, and all these changes stemmed from changing my drinking. I didn't know it at the time, but making that big change caused a positive ripple effect across many areas of her life. So we'll just focus on the alcohol. We'll watch what happens. Talking now, I will go to the gym tomorrow. I will go once. Take it from there. It's not going to be my focus, but it'll just happen naturally. And I guess that's what she's talking about. It's just a ripple effect. Because I'm not up drinking all night tonight. I know I will have time tomorrow. So, today, we'll make a plan on how we're going to tackle sugar cravings whenever they come up. So they will come up. If you're going to let yourself indulge in sugary foods during the experiment, what choices will you make? She's suggesting the natural fruit, so it has fructose, the natural sugar. Do you have them in your pantry at the moment? I have a banana in my fridge. That's it for I should maybe get some fruit. Have it handy. I'll take some fruit to work. Then I won't get the chocolate bar. If not, you might want to consider stocking up. That's what I was just talking about. If you plan to exercise, what will you do exactly? So, deciding, all right, yeah, I'm going to go walk, or I'm going to get on the rowing machine. I like the rowing machine, so I might just do a bit of rowing in the morning. How can you prevent those cravings from showing up in the first place? How can we prevent? Is beating it, I guess. Now that we're aware that our body will probably go towards the sugar, we can hit it with a fruit early, before it says chocolate. So reflections. Here's what some people said. Today we've got Leah. She says, I know I'm one of those people who can overdo it with the self-improvement tasks. So I'm trying to be okay with an imperfect diet that includes some comfort foods while I get through these first 30 days of not drinking and get used to being someone who doesn't drink. Huge shift. Thanks, Leah. So quitting alcohol, Leah says, is hard enough. I'm choosing to be okay with pasta and dessert for now, as long as I'm also eating more nutrient-dense foods too. Ross the boss, says, I have found that cutting out drinking has given me more time and energy to put in place healthy habits that have only been thoughts before. I'm being careful to start out slow but consistent. I'm not craving sugar so much as the treat. Yeah, I deserve this, which has been a bit of a struggle to satisfy. What things have you been thinking about doing? That could be a treat. Art gallery. Me, I'll see that band tomorrow night. I'm going to go. I'm going to not drink alcohol. That's a reward. Seeing that band, I want to see it. And experiencing a band without alcohol, new experience. I'll have fun and start going, yeah, I don't need to drink. Ross the boss also says, I find that my appetite has increased, so I've started eating smaller meals more often, get the metabolism going, smaller meals. Also, I'm craving carbs more. Does that have something to do with alcohol? Maybe it does. Both of them were talking about carbs. Leah talked about pasta, and now Ross the boss is talking about eating more carbs. So there could be something there. So if you find yourself craving it, just go with it, and we can shift those eating habits once we've finished this. I would expect that these cravings of carbs has something to do with alcohol. That's what Ross is now pondering. Just being mindful about that too. And yes, gentle is the word for this experiment in every way. Be gentle to yourself. It's like we're creating an environment for a plant to grow. And we can't be a farmer if the farmer hasn't given the plant the right environment and it's not growing. The farmer yelling at it going, come on, you stupid plant, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. No, well, come on, be nice to the plant. It can only do what the environment will allow it to do. So I guess we can focus on no alcohol and creating an environment where we can bloom like a little plant in a good soil. You know what I'm saying. We won't yell at ourselves. We'll just focus on keeping the environment good. And watch the ripple effect. Because yes, alcohol takes away some joy even. Because it is a depressant. I am finding myself a bit clearer in the head. I'm finding that already. But I'm also finding myself going, this is too long. It was weird. I started these videos. I was like, I'm just going to do these. As I'm reading, I'm just going to start. And I didn't realize, I think, that how long 33 days is. I'm sort of, what are we, a third of the way through? Just over a third? And I'm doing videos daily. One in the morning, one at night. But this has also been amazing for me. Just chatting, keeping accountable, and also thinking about what I did today. And it going, wow, I'm talking to my friends at work about alcohol a lot. I've never noticed that before. So I'm actually noticing things more. Is it because my head's clearer? It's because I'm, who knows why. Anyway, that's the end. Luckily it wasn't any longer. I need to go to bed. Thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow. How you going? What are you drinking? Just tell me what you're drinking in the bottom. If you get this far. Cheers to that. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, maybe, for the Daily Stoic. Tomorrow night, if you're journeying this with me, or not at all, or in a week's time, this will all still be here. Come back. Start from the beginning. We'll see. It's your choice. It's your life. You get to choose. It's your body. It's your mind. We're taking control of it. Bye.